Hey everyone, I'm Joe, and it's time to have a little chat. So as I'm sure you're well aware, Baldur's Gate 3 has finished, technically. And I want to have a little chat about what's going to be happening now on the channel and with me going forward. So let's do that. So as I mentioned multiple times during the playthrough, I am planning on doing a second playthrough, a Dark Urge playthrough at some point within the next few weeks, I think. Just need a little break from Baldur's Gate because we have just finished a nearly 200-hour playthrough and I don't want to get burned out from it, basically. It's going to stick in a similar format and it'll probably be a little bit less frequent than this playthrough because, like I said, I want to make sure I don't get burnt out on the game. But I'm going to be jumping straight into that more or less within the next few weeks. I'm also planning on doing a live stream at some point within the next few weeks, maybe. I want to talk about Baldur's Gate 3, basically. I want to do some tier lists and some ranking of the companions and all that, and I think a live stream would suit that format really well. We can have a little gathering, get together, talk about the game and stuff, and I think that'd be really nice. And finally, in terms of Baldur's Gate 3, I've got a couple of bonus videos planned, a little treat for you all, so I'm going to record and edit those at some point within the next couple of weeks, and yeah, be a nice surprise, I think. So basically, while I do want to move on from Baldur's Gate as well and try out some other things on the channel, I like the idea of it being a constant presence on the channel alongside other stuff, and then hopefully there's something for everyone, you know what I mean? I feel like I owe it to you all and to myself, to the game, to keep it as a constant presence on the channel for a while, as long as we're all enjoying it, and I'm not ready to say goodbye, as I said in the title of the video. So Baldur's Gate 3 won't be going anywhere, but I do want to move on and do some other stuff as well, so let's talk about that. In terms of other games on the channel, unfortunately I have played a lot of games. You know, well, we could always do replays of games, but they won't be blind playthroughs, and I'm not going to fake my reactions or anything. I wish I was that good of an actor. I'm really not. You know, I've played the Souls games, I've played Red Dead Redemption 2, all that. I wish I hadn't. There's a bunch of games I wish I hadn't played and I could play on YouTube for the first time, but unfortunately I have played them, so it's a bit of a shame. But there's a lot of games I haven't played as well, especially kind of older, more classic games. Feel free to check my backlogged profile in my channel description to see a list of all the games that I need to play, essentially. There's a lot on there, and some ones that I'm really excited to play. It's pretty obvious and clear to me that I want to be sort of an RPG focused channel. I think games where you kind of design your own character and get lost in these fantasy worlds and stuff, because like I said in Baldur's Gate, I've had so much fun creating a character and making my own choices and getting lost in these worlds, and I'd love to focus on RPG games going forward as well. I think the main ones on my list are the Dragon Age games, the Final Fantasy games, the classic ones, the Legends of Zelda games, and as well as a bunch of kind of classic CRPG games I've never played, like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2, of course, and Planescape Torment, Pillars of Eternity, Pathfinder. All those are definitely high on my list. But before we jump into another 100-hour long RPG, I need a little rest. I want to play some shorter games first. Just some shorter games that I can kind of relax and get out quite quickly, rather than dedicating myself to another 100-hour RPG just to kind of rest a little bit. So that's what we're going to do. If you're a member of Patreon of any tier, there's a poll up right now basically deciding which game we're going to play next on the channel. It's comprised of 4 kind of shorter games. I mean, I think they're shorter, but they're all quite established franchises. So it's between BioShock, Life is Strange, Portal, and Metal Gear Solid. They're all very different games. They're all very different games to what we've played on the channel currently, but they're pretty well-known franchises, and I'd like to see how they do, see how we do with some shorter games and stuff. Also, if you're a YouTube member, you can vote for these games as well in the community tab on my channel, and I'll be putting the poll in the Patreon only channel in my Discord. So if you're a patron of any tier, you can vote twice, and if you're a YouTube member, you can vote 3 times, basically. It's a bit messy, but I think if we tally up the votes across all 3 polls, it's probably the fairest way of doing it, because I know I know not everyone uses Patreon and not everyone gets notifications for it, so I think putting it in the Discord as well means that I can kind of ping all the Patreon members to ensure that everyone sees it, you know? So you will get multiple votes if you happen to be all three, but don't feel pressured to do any of that. It's just, I think it's the fairest way of doing it, and I'll just tally up all the votes and we'll play whatever gets the most votes. So that poll is going to run for the next week or so, maybe the next couple of weeks while we're finishing up Expedition 33. The finale of the main story of that will be up tomorrow, and then I reckon we've got a couple more episodes after that, just finishing off some side content and stuff. So the Patreon and members only polls will be up for a while until we finish that. And that whatever game wins that vote will be on the channel alongside the Dark Age playthrough of Baldur's Gate 3, but like I said, the Dark Age playthrough will be a little bit less frequent than what I've been doing it right now, probably once a week, just to avoid burnout, unless I'm enjoying it and you guys are really enjoying it, but we'll see. I don't want to get burnt out on the game. I do want to do some other stuff on the channel as well. Speaking of Patreon, I do want to talk about that a little bit, because I do feel like I've sort of neglected you all a little bit on that, and I am sorry. I really appreciate the support, but it just stems from a complete lack of ideas as to what I actually want to do on there. I don't want to lock content behind a paywall. You know, I never lock a whole playthrough or parts of a playthrough on Patreon unless I was having serious issues with copyright or something. So I want to revamp the Patreon and talk about what's going to be happening on that going forward as well. The Band of Wizards tier patrons do get access to some bonus content that'll be happening in the future, but that's mostly just going to be the kind of occasional behind the scenes video or something that might not really belong in a playthrough. Like I did a video where I sorted my inventory from Baldur's Gate 3. It didn't need to be in the main playthrough, but it was a nice little bit of bonus content to put on Patreon. Or if we do one-off videos in the future that aren't part of a broader playthrough, then I might keep it to Patreon only and then release it on YouTube at a later time or something like that maybe. But the main thing I want to talk about is starting from soon, I'll be offering kind of early access to all or most videos from the Band of Rogue tier patrons and up. I know people have their reservations about early access, I do as well, because part of the kind of one of my favourite things to do is interacting with comments as the video comes out and before I record the next one, because it's nice to get bits of advice and stuff and kind of talk to you guys as the video comes out, you know? But so I think if we do 24 to 72 hour early access for videos where possible, then I'm still getting that sort of recent interactivity with the comments. And if you're a patron, you can comment early on the video anyway and still give me tips and stuff and bits of advice that I can follow. And I think this is the best way to back all of you people who are generous enough to support me and support this community and help me work towards doing this full time. And most importantly, it's a way to make the Patreon a bit more active, because it's been really sparse these last few months and I do apologise. I've just been really lacking ideas for it. Oh, and that's another thing as well. I've actually, if you haven't seen already, I've added some new cover images on the Patreon for each tier that are kind of Baldur's Gate 3 focused. Before I recorded the finale, I went back and loaded a bunch of saves that I'd kept, because I have like 200 saves. And they're screenshots taken from throughout the journey, so right back in Act 1 in the camp, all the way to before we went to take on the brain, and I'm really happy with them. I think they represent the different tiers really well, and the Patreon is Baldur's Gate 3 focused because it's the game that's kind of launched my channel and launched all of you guys. So yeah, if you don't sign up to the Patreon, at least go and check out those really cool photo mode screenshots I took. So like I said, if you were thinking of becoming a patron and supporting the channel, but you didn't because you didn't feel it was worth it, then I will be doing stuff like early access and I'll be dedicating more time to it. So feel free to check it out if you're interested and you're able to. And even just joining on the $3 tier means so much, and it means that you get access to all the polls and get to decide which games we play. So thank you for all the people that are currently supporting, and if you are willing to, then I would really appreciate it. But don't feel pressured. It's there if you'd want a bit extra and you'd like to support me into doing it full time. So thank you. So I think that's about everything I really wanted to say. I do want to move on and do some other stuff, but If you thought Baldur's Gate 3 was going anywhere, you're wrong. Like I said, the whole Patreon and the memberships and stuff is Baldur's Gate 3 focused to show my appreciation of this experience we've had in the last 8 months. 8 months, good god. Baldur's Gate 3 is done, and it's been a wonderful experience, but luckily, it's not done. We'll be starting Dark Urge within the next few weeks, and I think I have a really cool idea for a character to design, even though I don't know how Dark Urge works, so we'll have to see. We'll find out together. So yeah, TLDR, Dark Urge playthrough within the next few weeks. I'm also planning on doing a live stream at some point talking about Baldur's Gate 3 and doing some tier lists and companion rankings and stuff, as well as a bonus video or two as a little surprise. So stay tuned for all of those. Patreon polls are up on Patreon now and in the Patreon only channel in the Discord, and they're up for YouTube members in the community tab. So vote, 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 and I will tally the votes up, and we'll go from there. The Expedition 33 finale will be up tomorrow, and then after that, Early Access will be starting, I think, as we finish off the last few episodes, and do some more side content while the polls are still running. That's it really. Thank you so much for all the support. This little community that's grown from Baldur's Gate 3 especially has been more than I ever imagined, and yeah, I'm only just getting started, baby. Ugh. Thank you, and I will see you all very shortly. Goodbye.